I don't want you to see yourself as someone that is just trying to manifest or learning about manifestation or reading manifestation books. I want you to see yourself and have your self-identity as a manifester. I want you to step into someone who is living and breathing this work. I want you to see yourself as a powerful creator and someone who can really shift into this way at looking at life.
The Mindspo Podcast.
What do you see with your mind's eye?
Welcome back. Let's elevate. Roll your shoulders up and back. Unclench your jaw. Elongate your spine as you take a deep breath in. And now, exhale. Now take your mind to that person, place, or thing that you have gratitude for. And start to feel into the joy available to you at all times. Elevate into a higher vibration as we expand together and dive into this conversation. Welcome to the first ever episode of the Mindspo Manifestation series brought to you by Manifestie app. Now, today is all about Manifestation 101 and giving you my 8-step manifestation process to create your reality with clarity. This might be a good episode to have a pen and notepad on standby because we are going to be unpacking a lot. So let's dive right in. Okay, so I want to demystify manifesting for you. I want to make sense of it all. And one of my girls, Katie, who's on my team, she recently said something to me and it just really summed up how I like to look at manifesting in general. And what she said to me is, you know what, Rochelle, manifesting is a lifestyle. And I was like, that is it right there. Manifesting isn't just a specific tool or a technique. It's so much more than that. And that's how I want to invite you to look at manifesting as someone who is part of this Mindspo and Manifestie family. I don't want you to see yourself as someone that is just trying to manifest or, learning about manifestation or reading manifestation books. I want you to see yourself and have your self-identity as a manifester. I want you to step into someone who is living and breathing this work. I want you to see yourself as a powerful creator and someone who can really shift into this way at looking at life. Now, when you start looking at manifesting as a lifestyle, it just becomes so much more fun. This isn't just something that you do or a set of tools or techniques. It's something that you embody. It's something that you are at your core. And my intention with this Manifestie Podcast episode series is to take you from being someone who doesn't just know about manifestation to being someone that sees themselves as a manifester and a conscious creator of their reality. In this series, every single Monday, my promise to you is to make manifestation simple, actionable, practical, and most importantly, fun for you. We're going to be diving into the energetics of manifesting, the mind shifts, the manifestation tools, the techniques, and the manifestation stories to keep you inspired on your own journey. And to kick off this series, I'm going to be breaking it down into these 8 steps for you. Now, this is just my top-down system, and I'm going to break things down further every single week. And I'm going to build on the how and the what and the specifics within each episode. So just remember, this is Manifestation 101, the basics. Let's dive in. All right, so we have step number 1 in my 8-part series. And I just want to say before I dive in, actually, that every single step is going to have an action point. And if you really want to make this whole entire podcast something that is actionable, I want to challenge you to take action on each one of these action points, because this is where you are really going to show up as that manifester, like I said, not just someone that is passive listening to this and learning more about manifestation. I'm sure you've heard so much about manifestation. It's all about taking action and embodying this way of being. Okay, enough said. Step number 1. So step number 1 in my 8-step system is vision. Manifesting anything in your life starts with a vision. This is where you idolize. This is where you let your mind wander, dream, daydream, and explore what could be possible. Now, a great question to ask yourself while you are doing this step that my friend Reese from Yes Supply teaches is, what would I ask for if I knew the answer was yes? I fucking love this. What would I ask for if I knew the answer was yes? I think that is just such a freaking powerful question. Ask yourself now, what is it that you would ask for in your life if you knew the answer was yes? What is that one thing or that version of you that you would commit to if you knew without a shadow of a doubt that it would happen for you? Now, most people trip up with this first step of manifesting because they focus their attention and their mind to stay within what I like to call their current belief bubble or their comfort zone. Building your vision is when you really need to push beyond your limits and explore ideas that even now might not seem possible for you. That's why you need to dream. That's why you need to go bigger than your belief bubble. Now, there's a great quote that I have loved for years and years and years from Harv T. Eckhart, which is just so fitting here. And it is, if a 100-foot oak had the mind of a human, it would only grow to be 10 foot tall. I'm going to say that again and just let it sink in. If a 100-foot oak had a mind of a human, it would only grow to be 10 foot tall. Here's the thing. As humans, we limit ourselves so freaking much. And part of the practice of this first step of manifesting is to dream big, to create a vision beyond your wildest dreams and allow yourself to imagine what could be possible. Even if right now it doesn't seem rational or realistic, that's okay. When it comes to having a vision, so many people don't even allow themselves to dream big, let alone make a decision to go after that vision. And I also want to say here, a vision can start broad and wide, but it's important to keep coming back to it so that you can make it clear and precise and in alignment with what and who you actually want to be. So now we're going to get into the action step of step number 1. So action step number 1, when it comes to this first step of having a vision, is just to give yourself permission to be delusional and to daydream, to play and envision and have fun with thinking about the potentials and the possibilities of this world. Like, this is your literal permission slip. I want you to be delusional. Let yourself be delusional. Even if that seems weird and uncomfortable, just let yourself embody that delusional energy, okay? And one way that you can practice this is just to imagine that there is an alternative reality twin version of you that is free from the limits and the worries that you currently have within your current belief bubble, within your comfort zone. Imagine this twin version of yours could have anything they desired and let yourself dream freely. Once you start to get a vision and a version and some ideas of this twin version of yourself, then go on Pinterest and start a new board and fill it with images and pictures of the lifestyle and the vibe that is coming to you. Don't edit it. Don't judge it. Just let yourself dream. Let yourself have a vision. Step number 2 is all about identity. So once you have a clear vision, the next step is to become what I like to call an identity investigator. This step is about analyzing, questioning, and not bullshitting yourself. So something I see a lot of people skip out on when it comes to identity work is they just think that if they just think differently, then they will manifest and get a different result to what they are getting. I want you to understand that your identity is not just what you think, okay? It's actually your way of being. Manifesting, just like everything else in this world, works with the universal law of cause and effect. What you send out, who you are, is what you get back, right? It is a mirror. So when decoding who you need to become in order to manifest that life and that future version of yourself, you need to ask yourself, who do I need to become to easily and effortlessly have this life or have this thing? Say, for example, you want to manifest a secure relationship after a series of really unsuccessful, jealous relationships or toxic relationships. You need to ask yourself, what does the version of me look like that's in a secure and loving relationship? Well, how do they think? What do they feel? How are they embodying their day-to-day life, right? How are they in a relationship? Okay, in this step, you need to think about the desired outcome of the person that you want to become in your future and get super freaking clear on how that future version of you lives. What habits do they do and what habits do they no longer do, right? What does this future version of you look like? What do they feel like? What do they sound like? When doing this step, I really like to challenge myself to really find the key differences between me right now and my future self. I really ask myself what I'm not not doing and who I'm not being compared with the version of me that has what I want. This isn't about judging yourself, right? I don't want you to get caught up and think, okay, so identity work is all about judging myself and comparing myself. It's not about that, okay? It's just about having this awareness, okay? It's not about being hard on yourself. I just want you to have self-awareness and take responsibility for how you're showing up right now. There is a great quote actually from Thomas Jefferson here, which is, if you want something you've never had, you need to be willing to do something you've never done. I'm going to say that again. If you want something you've never had, you must be willing to do something you've never done. Manifesting at its core is an inner process because you need to understand that your inner world and your beliefs and your subconscious thoughts, your energy, that is what creates your outer world experiences. We don't see the world as it is. We see the world as we are. And identity work requires you working with your subconscious mind to reprogram what you believe is possible for yourself. Thinking alone will not get you what you want. You actually have to embody and become that future version of yourself now in order to start seeing those results, okay? So identity work is something that is deep. It really goes into habits. It goes into routines. It goes into how you show up, how you think, how you speak. This is where you really redesign you. You think about yourself now and you think about, what is this version of me that has what I want? How are they different from this version of me now? It requires investigation, it requires self-awareness, and it requires you becoming and acting and showing up as a different version of yourself, becoming that future version of yourself. So let's get into the action step for step number 2 and your identity work. A great question that you can come back to if you haven't already asked yourself is, who is the version of me that has everything that I desire? And what changes can I make now to be them? Something that you can actually do on Manifestie app is to create a future feed. Now, a future feed is a tool that we created on the app that looks very similar to Instagram. But instead of being a highlights reel of other people's lives, it's actually a private space where you can visualize what your future self social media would look like. So once you get clear on the identity of the future version of yourself, have a think about what that Instagram feed or that future version of yourself would look like. What would they eat? What were they doing on the weekends? What inspires them? What does their desk look like? Where does that future version of yourself eat? What are they doing on the weekends? What inspires them? What does their desk look like? What are they wearing as an outfit of the day? Who are their friends? What car do they drive? What colors are on their Instagram feed? Where are they traveling or are they staying home? What is their lifestyle? Like, really get granular. What are all the things that this person would be photographing? What is their identity? And then once you get clear on that, make yourself a future self future feed. And instead of going on Instagram every single day and looking at everyone's freaking highlights reels and what they're doing in their lives and getting yourself in the comparison and throwing off your manifestations and getting in that low vibe energy, go on Manifestie, scroll your future feed and feel into the identity of the future version of yourself. When you do this, you'll be programming your subconscious mind and your reticular activating system with your future feed to feel into what is possible for you. Step number 3. All right, so step number 3 is all about beliefs. Now, this is a really big one because in order for you to receive your manifestations, you have to believe that it's possible for you. Your desires and your beliefs, they have to be in alignment. And in this step of manifestation, you need to get really real about what you truly believe is possible for you, not just on a conscious level, but on a deep subconscious level. Now, when I work with students on my retreats or in our Mindspo programs or in our live coaching containers, I really break down this process and I spend a lot of time on this. And I like to work with something that I call the Mindspo 5 Bs, which is a system we created to really help people break down their limiting beliefs and also to create brand new beliefs that are more empowering. And the 5 Bs stand for belief, behaviors, blocks, breakthroughs, and boundaries. Now, a lot of step 3 when it comes to your beliefs is really about removing the limiting beliefs that you've been conditioned to think are true. It's really deep work. And honestly, sometimes it's great to get help and to go and find a coach or go and work with someone that can really guide you through this process. Because when it comes to working on our own beliefs and, going through our shit, sometimes we can be a little blind and we really can't see those spots that, we're thinking, yeah, I believe this. I think this is possible for me. But deep down, maybe there is a old childhood wound or some kind of lack story or some kind of not enough story that is really holding you back from everything that you desire. And the sooner you can work through that, bust through that limiting belief, let it go, reprogram it, the sooner you can actually get into embodying that life that you know deep down you deserve. But for some reason, there is some bullshit belief telling you that you can't have it yet, right? Now, one thing I want to say is reprogramming your subconscious beliefs, it can take time depending on what they are. So don't rush through this step. Really do the work and commit yourself to removing those beliefs that are limiting and re-choosing beliefs that support you in becoming who you want to become. This is deep work. You have to go into your shadow. You've got to look at your shit. It's not always fun, but honestly, the breakdown is where the breakthrough happens. Now, your action step for step number 3 is I want you to really step into being the observer of your mind. So when you notice a limiting story in your head, such as, oh gosh, I'm never going to be able to afford that car, I want you to actually observe that. Don't look at it and be like, oh, that must be true because I'm thinking it. No, just because you're thinking it doesn't mean it's true, right? Just observe it and then really ask yourself, like, where does this come from? And try and find the belief that this links up with. So if you have a story in your head, which is, I'm never going to be able to afford this car, then maybe you have a belief, which is people like me can't be wealthy, or someone like me doesn't deserve nice things, or I'm not worthy of spending money on myself. There is some kind of belief that is giving you that story beneath the story, and you really need to find what that belief is. And you do this by questioning. So I want you to understand here that a belief is just a thought that you keep having. And usually you keep having this thought without questioning it. So when a limiting thought comes up, I want you to stop and ask yourself, whose thought is this? Literally, limiting thought comes up, limiting story comes up, ask yourself, whose thought is this? And then ask yourself, is this mine? Where did this come from? Is this thought 100% true? Can I find any exceptions to this truth in the world? Is there any way that I could see this thought in a more beneficial way? Ask yourself all these questions. Get curious. Start questioning your own mind. Don't just let your mind ramble away on autopilot. Your thoughts are what are creating your reality. So when your thoughts are judgmental, they're self-deprecating, they're negative, or they're projecting some kind of scarcity, fear, or lack story, it is your responsibility to catch them out and challenge yourself to change your mind. Now, only you can do this work, and this work is at the core of what it means to practice intentional manifestation. Look, as I always say to my students, don't believe everything that you think. Have a healthy mistrust for your mind. Question your mind every single day. By far, my biggest tool and my tip that is going to support you in doing this is, you guessed it, you probably saw this one coming, meditation, okay? Meditation is what gives your mind awareness to separate yourself from the thoughts inside your own mind. It is my biggest hack. It is the thing that has started my whole entire journey. It got me on this path of personal development. I would not be where I am today without meditation. And meditation is at the core of you being the observer of your mind. It is what's going to help you get over those limiting belief stories. It is what's going to help you create new stories in your head that are more empowering. It is really the secret. We are halfway through now. We are on step number 4, and step number 4 is visualization. So this is about embodying your manifestations. And this really starts in the mind when you visualize and you mentally rehearse and you feel into the energy of what you're manifesting. And you do this intentionally over and over and over. But the trick is, when it comes to visualization, is that you need to make it natural and fun. And this is where a lot of people trip up because they're adding force and effort here. And this is where I want to remind you that this concept of manifesting being a lifestyle, right? This step especially, it really needs to be done with the essence of ease and play and playfulness. Have fun visualizing your manifestations and embodying the energy of your desires and your dreams in your own mind. Combine your visualizations in your mind with feelings in your body to mentally and physically rehearse that future version of you. Walking meditations are amazing for this. Like, literally visualize while you're walking, having a visceral experience. It's just incredible. Now, visualization when done properly is about combining visions in your minds with feelings in your body to mentally and physically rehearse living as that future version of you. So action step. Action step for step number 4 is I want to do a visualization with you right here, right now, using the Mindspo Elevate method, which is a tool that I designed and I teach to my students. So if you've ever come on a Mindspo retreat, if you've come on one of my Bali Mindspo retreats or Mykonos or in Cyprus, this might be very nostalgic to you. You might be very excited right now because all of my students know that the Mindspo Elevate method is something that I do over and over and over and over and over again. It is something that I use in my teachings. You might also notice that at the beginning of this podcast and every single Mindspo podcast, there is the Mindspo Elevate method. So I shorten the Mindspo Elevate method as the intro for this podcast because I really want these conversations to elevate you. That's why I'm here. That's part of my intention of being a human, sharing this knowledge and passing this stuff on. I want to be an elevator and expander to other people. So that's why this Elevate method is just like, it's just so important to me. So let's get into it. So first, before we get into the method and we start this visualization and we take action on step number 4 right here, right now, I want you just to pause and I want you to think of a person, a place, or a thing that makes you feel good. I want you to think like, what is one thing that fills your heart with just so much joy and peace and happiness and gratitude? Think now, what is something that you can visualize in your mind and you can kind of put a picture frame around it? Something that gives you an elevated feeling. For example, this could be the face of your pet, your favorite sunset spot, that morning coffee, anything that puts you in an elevated emotion. Have a think now. What is that thing? What is that thing that elevates you? What is that person, place, or thing? Bring it to your mind now. Have a think. All right. Now, once you have that thing, I want you to close your eyes if it's safe for you to do so. Now I want you to roll your shoulders up and back. Elongate your spine. Unclench your jaw. And now take a deep breath in as you take your right hand to your heart. And now exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Let it all go. Now, from this elevated position, take your mind's eye to that person, place, or thing that you have gratitude for. Allow yourself to elevate into those feelings of joy, gratitude, and love as you see and feel into this frame. Keep your mind's eye on that person, place, or thing. Shoulders back, heart open. Really feel into it, elevating your energy. Now, take another deep breath in and exhale. And now take your mind's eye to whatever it is that you're manifesting for yourself. Replace that frame with your manifestation. What is it that you are calling in? See it in your mind's eye now. See it and feel it. Let your body and your mind elevate into the feeling of you having this thing. Feel the joy and gratitude of this being yours. Feel into that future version of yourself. Deep breath in And exhale as you really elevate into it. Inhale. Exhale, keeping your mind on that thing. And now, inhale once more. And exhale, taking your hand from your heart and extending your right hand in front of you, repeating the words, thank you, thank you, thank you. Wiggling your fingers and sending out a signal of gratitude for everything that is coming your way. Okay, open your eyes. Now that's a very, very simple and fast visualization practice that you can do daily. And you can actually find that within Manifestie app under the Mindspo Elevate method for the shorter version, or the Mindspo Elevate plus manifestation method if you'd like to practice that exact one with me in a more precise way every single day. Okay, so now we are on to step number 5. And step number 5 is surrender. Surrender and detach from the outcome. So this is about not needing, not wanting, not hoping, just claiming it, choosing it, and being happy and content as though you already have that thing. The more attached you are to the outcome, or the more attached you are to your manifestations, the more you are reinforcing that it is not already yours. Now look, honestly, this is one that I often find the hardest in my own personal manifestation practice. Surrendering and letting go, it's not always easy, but sometimes this step comes really easily to some people. So please don't think this always has to be hard. But for me, sometimes I find this a little challenging. But this step, even though it can be challenging, it's so vital, because to be truly embodied in your manifestations is to live as if they have already manifested and move beyond that needing, that wanting, and that desiring and that desperate energy, because that creates separation and that's what creates that friction. Your action step for step number 5 is to practice normalizing your dream life. So how you do this is you remove your dream life from a pedestal. You stop putting it above and beyond yourself, and instead you get closer to it. You make it normal and natural. So I'm going to give you an example here. For example, if you wanted to manifest and buy yourself a Porsche 911, what you would do here is you wouldn't just look at Porsches and wish and want for one and pine over one. Instead, how you would normalize this is you would research and know everything about Porsche 911s. And then you would dress up, you would go to your local Porsche dealership, and you would be a Porsche buyer. You would go and test drive it. So instead of being a window shopper at the Porsche dealership, you actually become a client. You go in there with that energy of like, yeah, this is my life. This is what I'm doing. This is who I am. I'm a Porsche customer. You're not a window shopper. You are actually a customer. You are connected to that thing. You normalize it. You make it yours. You integrate it into your life. Okay, step number 6. Step number 6 is about faith and focus. So you need to be aware not to doubt or question your vision or your manifestations. You need to hold the faith that it is already yours. You got to let your faith be the evidence of things unseen. You need to trust in your power and be aware not to dig up the seed. You've planted a seed. You've put that vision into place. You've started, actioning it and visualizing it. Now, the trick here is not to dig it up, not to keep thinking, oh, is it there yet? Is it there yet? So for me, manifesting, it requires focus, but not force focus, but instead a focused and clear mind. This is why meditation, there's that word again, but this is why meditation is such a vital part of the process. That inner voice that tells you you can't, or you're not good enough, or that you should stop believing in your vision because who the hell do you think you are? You're not enough. Like that voice, that is just a voice, right? And when you over-identify with that inner voice, with that head noise, it is so easy to lose the faith. Meditation is the secret weapon here because every day when you meditate, especially when you do a mantra-based meditation practice like the Mindspo meditation method, which I've been practicing for over a decade now, that is when you actually train your mind to get the reins over that wild horse inside your mind that is always trying to throw you off and tell you can't and just kind of take you on some sort of wild bullshit ride. Okay, so your action step for this one is to literally just stop being your brain's bitch. Stop being your brain's bitch and start meditating. Start a daily meditation practice. And how you can do this is go find a teacher, go find a course, or go find an app that makes you excited to show up for this life-changing practice every single day. You don't have to do it with me. You don't have to choose me. I don't care who your meditation teacher is. As long as you go and meditate, my job as an influencer of this work is done. As a teacher, if I can influence you to just go and do this practice, whoever it's with, then I'm like, tick, my job is done. So if you did want to do it with me though, you can come and join the beautiful Mindspo community. We have something called the Mindspo meditation method. We have a course that has a 66-day meditation challenge. I will literally be your meditation teacher and take you through every single step of the meditation journey. Or you can go and download Manifestie app, who sponsors these episodes. And if you go and download Manifestie app, we have so many different types of meditations. We have walking meditations, sleep meditations, we have affirmation meditations, we have a mantra-based meditation practice like the Mindspo method. There are so many different types in the app, but the type that I really recommend to keep the faith and keep the focus, and it's just like a foundational meditation practice, is the 22-minute Mindspo meditation method. The most important thing here is that you actually just take responsibility for your mental health. You calm down your own head noise on a regular basis because that is what's going to make manifesting so much easier, and it is going to improve your life in countless ways. We are on to our second last step now, step number 7, which is right action. Now, this is where you go after your goal step by step by step, focusing on the next link in what I like to call the transfer chain. So you need to do this step dispassionately, keeping your awareness on excess striving and excess importance. Choose them with the same energy as you would choosing an item from the supermarket. Make it natural, make it fun, just make it easy. Take one step after the other. The energy of this step is all about having certainty. Of course, this will be mine. I've done this before. I'm just taking action. This is already mine. I'm just showing up. This is easy for me. Okay. So action is such an important part of manifestation. And yes, you can think and feel things into existence by different methods. If you're really in alignment with something, things can just pop up with little action. But most of the time, those big dreams, those things that you really want to create in your life, they are going to take action. If you had a manifestation of having a chart-topping podcast, you just can't meditate your way into having a chart-topping podcast, right? You have to show up. You have to set up the camera. You've got to get the mic. You've got to get the editing software. You've got to get the whole entire system in place so you can produce the podcast. If you want to write the book's not going to write itself. If you want to start the business, guess what? The business isn't going to start itself. It requires action, okay? Manifestation is going to help you take action. It's going to help you embody becoming that future self. It's going to help you move through those limiting beliefs. It's going to help you with all these different things that is going to make whatever it is you want easier and more in flow and more in just alignment to you, because you're going to become more magnetic and more a match for that future version of yourself. But most things require action. So you need to take action. So this is why listening to this podcast, I don't want you just to listen and be like, oh, that was a lot of cool manifestation advice. Like, oh, it was really inspiring. Yeah, cool. If you're inspired, take action. What is the next actionable step? So let's talk about actually taking action. So your action step for right action is to right here, right now, pause and think to yourself, what is the next actionable step that I can take to get closer to that dream life, to that manifestation, to that thing that I am calling in? Pause. Literally, really think about it. What is the next thing that you can do within your control right now to step into being that future version of yourself? What is it? What's the next thing? What is the next link in the transfer chain? What's the next step? Really think. Next thing within your control. What is the next step? Now, when you have that next step, schedule taking that next step, okay? Commit to it, show up for it, and then complete that step. Don't just think about it, actually do it. And if you actually go and take action, if you take bold action today from listening to this podcast, I want you to celebrate yourself. I literally want you to go on Instagram. I want you to take a photo, put it on stories, tag myself at Rochelle_Fox, tag Mindspo, tag Manifestie app. Let me know you're doing it, and I will be in your DMs being your biggest cheerleader. Because so many people know they need to take action. So many people have a dream, but they're just not doing anything about it. Don't be like these people. Be the person who takes action. Be the person that shows up for their dreams. Your dreams aren't going to just magically appear out of nowhere. Take action. Take that next step. Be the creator of your reality. Decide today to be someone that is going to step into that next level version of yourself, that future version of you, because there is so much waiting for you when you take the next step. Woo, okay, we are on to the last step, and the last step is step number 8, and that is autosuggestion. So let's dive into it. What even is autosuggestion? Why is it important? Let's unpack it. So I believe autosuggestion is more important than ever. When it comes to my manifesting system, it's step 8 because I believe so many of my students and so many people in the world, they need more positive autosuggestion. The average mind at this point in time is so scattered because we are still cavemen biologically. We're living in this super futuristic world, but we have 200,000-year-old hardware, and we're trying to run that with 2023 software. So it's really easy to get overwhelmed and just become unfocused and distracted. Like, we are just completely burnt out mentally. And autosuggestion is all about intentionally programming your subconscious mind by repetition, by installing your vision of the future, that positive vision of your future. So if you've ever followed my journey personally on social media and on my Instagram at Rochelle_Fox or my YouTube channel, you will know that I went into a deep digital wellness black hole for a while. Like, after a decade of posting photos of myself online, I literally took my face off Instagram and I just posted quote slides and literally just stepped back from the online world for a year, because at the time I had actually just developed a really unhealthy relationship and really addictive behaviors with social media. I personally believe that so much of our struggles with mental health, mindset, and manifestation, it all just comes from poor digital wellness. We consciously say that we love and we want abundance, but what we are actually consuming on a day-to-day basis is content that auto-suggests fear and lack and just pain and suffering, right? So I'm going to give you an example here. When I first started Mindspo, nobody in my life told me this whole thing would be a good idea. Everyone just asked, like, why are you doing that? How are you going to make money? What's the point? Like, aren't you working in media and entertainment? Like, shouldn't you just stick to that? Like, this sounds unsafe. This sounds scary. This sounds unusual. Oh, you're going to be one of these hippie woo-woo people. Like, there were so many judgments coming at me. The auto-suggestion in my environment was not aligned with the vision I had, and it was disempowering my vision rather than empowering it. So I had to consciously choose to listen and fill my head with empowering people and empowering voices, people who believed in the unseen world, who went for their dreams, even though it didn't make sense, or they didn't know how they would make profit, or even because maybe they didn't even want to make profit. There was just a deeper reason and purpose. Like, I had to go and seek out these people and turn away from all of this negative autosuggestion and find the positive autosuggestion. My app Manifestie is an autosuggestion app. It is filled with audios, meditations, affirmations, sleep manifestations, and audio that is designed to empower you, because this was a huge problem I had. The app is designed to motivate you and inspire you to take action. In a world that's telling you that you're not enough, you're not good enough, you're broken, you're a victim, my goal in building Manifestie was to remind you that you're not. You're a powerful creator. You are the one that's responsible for your life. So now you've heard about my spiel on autosuggestion. Let's talk about the action step. You've already done today's action step. Listening to this podcast episode was you being practical and listening to positive autosuggestion, because I'm never going to negatively autosuggest to you. And if I ever do, it's never my intention. I'm literally here as your manifestation bestie. You can think of me as your cheerleader, your guide, your soul fam. Like, I am here to empower you on this podcast every single week, to support you with my knowledge and my experiences, in the hopes that my words and my energy energy and my positive auto-suggestion is going to help you win, because I want you to be healthy, wildly wealthy, and enjoy the inner peace and the love that's accessible to you right now. I want you to feel your power and feel into the force within you, because here's the thing. This is your one shot at you, so you might as well just go completely full out, and I am here to go full out with you. So there you go. Those were my 8 steps to manifesting. Like I mentioned, we can go so much deeper and so much more nuanced than this. And this is what we're going to be doing every single Monday on this series, sponsored and made possible by Mindspo's manifestation app, Manifestie, that you can download right now in the App Store. You can start actioning these steps and making your vision into a vision board movie, which is a vision board come to life with affirmations to affirm your future and music that puts you in a high vibratory state, as well as our meditations, affirmation tracks, future feed, and so much more. If you got value out of this episode, please do not forget to share the love and just come back next week, because we're going to be doing this every single week. We're going to be unpacking all of these lessons and diving into the magical world of manifestation and helping you create your reality with clarity. Thank you so much for listening. I've absolutely loved diving into these 8 steps with you, and I cannot wait to keep coming back and giving you this magic every single week. Until then, I'm sending you so much love. Thank you for joining me for this episode. You can discover more from Mindspo on Instagram and TikTok by following @Mindspo and myself @Rochelle_Fox. If this episode inspired you, then please pass it on and share the love. And if you're new to our world and you want to elevate your mind and step into your best self, then be sure to download our app, Manifestie, from the App Store and take advantage of the free trial. With Manifestie, you can create your own vision board movies, practice powerful meditations, and set affirmation reminders so your phone supports your journey towards that abundant vision of your future. And lastly, always remember, you create your own reality. So go and make some magic.